Oh, now we're live. Okay. That was a funny take. So, hi, I'm Panda,
I'm Odonata.
and this is Politics and Calipers. What do we got on the docket tonight, Odin?
So we got the lovely world of internet blood sports that is political debates on YouTube. I think that reviewing them a lot of the times, they're very well debated opinions. There's limited value to be had there. But nonetheless, I've been dragged into the blood sports.
I do enjoy torturing myself, so I do subject myself to these, and I thought it'd be fun to subject one more person to them. As
Misery
well,
does love company and all that.
it really does. As well as I think it'll be really fun for you just to drop historical elbows on one person's debate view. So, anytime you have a cool little piece of history that might completely debunk something that one particular person is saying, go straight ahead.
Drop on in with it.
You enjoy. So, I guess without further ado, let's see this.
Our guest Olivia. You want to go ahead and put them both
We'll
on?
make it nice for
Well,
you.
wait, who are you
One
ambushing
point
me with?
seven
Because we're not even
five.
done with our discussion yet.
Thank you.
Andrew. Hey, John, what's up?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We
John
are
Doyle.
Entertainment, here to discuss diversity, here to discuss the military.
Nice.
Hunter, how are we
Finally.
doing?
I'm doing good.
How are we
We took so long to get
What's your age?
You know what? This is a fair question to ask.
this set up. I'm happy to see you, John. How you doing, man?
It is true. I'm doing pretty well. I don't want to stand
You know, they talk about grooming children, but this kills children's brain cells, so has to be protected.
on ceremony with this sort of performative fraternity, Hunter. You had some very abrasive things to say about me in your video, which admittedly I didn't watch. Admittedly, I also didn't rewatch my video in preparation for this because, of course, I wanted to give you the biggest advantage possible. So you're going to have to refresh me a little bit on your critiques as we go along here. But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, the main critique that I had was just you seem to be very much against this idea of diversity in the military, and that's just not true. I thought that was quite delusional, to be honest, because virtually every single study we have, whether it's of a private business or of the military directly, we can see that diversity contributes to a significant amount of innovation.
Right. So for those watching, people of Hunter's kin like to do this thing with studies where they basically use them like Pokemon cards. So Hunter is going to take his studies and he's going to say, look at this study, it says this thing, blam, and it's like his argument is the title of the study. He doesn't believe that people, like as we saw with what Andrew was saying, can experience things, can infer data, can use their inductive reasoning, things like that. So that's why, it's always studies and data. So, people like Hunter also, it's not a coincidence that they're so obsessed with things like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? Like they conceptualize diversity.
Hold on,
like,
wait,
no, not you.
Is this actually your argument right now? Is the idea of shitting on data and factual information because you think that feelings outweigh facts? Is that it? I never said. Hold on.
No, if you would listen to my,
John,
I know this is one of your reaction streams where you're going to pause what I'm saying and
well,
have
this
you
isn't one of your videos where
shit.
where you can just make up a bunch of lies about what I think.
Let's just go one
let
at
me
a
finish
time.
my opening monologue here. My point was going to be the people of Hunter's coalition, maybe not him necessarily, since we want to get specific here. They can only conceptualize diversity like a team of superheroes, right? Or like the what was that Pixar movie, Inside Out, where you've got like this guy with this strength, and then this guy's really good at this thing, and they all come together, and then they beat the bad guy. That's not actually how it works. And what it comes down to basically in brass text is that anything the military is doing besides focusing on destroying enemies and their resources and securing our borders is by definition operating at a less efficient way than it should be. And so the whole idea behind diverse identities, as Hunter articulated, is this idea that like, oh well, if you've got the white guy, he's going to have this way of looking at it. If you have the black guy, he's going to have this way of looking at it. And when they all come together, they can sort of figure out the best way possible because you have all these different perspectives. And it sounds nice, but when you really like think about what that means, I mean, you're telling me that like, oh, we have more diversity because now we have gay people. Like, what defines gay people other than a fixation on anal sex? So you're like arguing to me literally that
that's a fucking shit tier take, obviously. I think you might have a guess to who might be the person you might be dropping elbows on if you had to take one.
I mean, I'm already. Yeah, I think I'm getting a slight inkling here. I mean, like, we haven't really given the preface that like I'm just a massive history nerd, so I have many a historical example that counters the idea of diversity in the military not being a strength. So
Yeah.
this is going to be an interesting one.
Yeah.
At any point you want like an example, like I'll give them to you. I got like probably 5 or 6.
I bet there'll be real flying out of you. I think you're just gonna want to jump down it. It's gonna be great.
And also,
no, but that's what it is. It's a fixation on anal sex. Hunter, you got to stop. You got to
How
stop.
long is your opening monologue going to be, dude? This isn't one of your videos.
I know. The big idea is scared the tiny mind.
I know.
Anyways,
Your feelings. They're very scary. Please finish up so we can start talking.
It's not 2016. See, this is your problem, Hunter. You never quite left 2016.
And
but we
back to
continue.
you. Just tell.
No.
You don't have ad block? Come on, dude.
Not on this one.
What we're trying to do
Okay.
is
I know you
literally
have a model on your side. Like, are you ever going to let me respond?
Pause the stream. Go get ad block.
Okay. You're
Pause the
right.
show, folks. Pause the show.
And,
This is important. Set a good example.
boom. Is this the extension store show? Is this the one I should get?
Get uBlock Origin.
Watch YouTube get mad because we're taking it.
We are streaming ourselves, blocking YouTube's ads on YouTube, so that is understandable how they might be a little bit upset about that.
That is, there is a paradigm there.
I know. See, this was the problem. I wanted to set up a debate between you guys. Hunter refused, and then he
I did not refuse. I said that I wanted. Hold on, wait.
No, you
Stop.
said
I don't care if I
never
debate
debate
both of you
him.
guys. I will say
I
said that I wanted a non-biased moderator, and it's
Yeah,
already
and have I
proven-
said no? How have I said anything? I haven't said anything. I haven't said anything. No.
If I could just comment on the structure of the debate, typically the way these actual debates, as opposed to internet blood sports go, is one side will speak for 5-10 minutes, the other side will speak for 5-10 minutes. There's
Blood
questions. etc.
sports.
Like, this somehow isn't perfectly the definition of internet blood sports.
This is an internet blood sport. That's all this is.
Yeah.
That's kind of the impression.
I
that
didn't
was
even know
operating,
that
but
he
I
used
might be able
that
to-
phrase in this video. That's hilarious that that's the same phrase I use.
Yep. This is
I guess it's just that good of a word.
it's that well understood that it is somewhat of a gladiatorial-esque, stupidity online.
Minutes uninterrupted.
I just
And
wanted
then-
to interject with the fact that I haven't said anything. He's saying there's a debate on a moderator on your side, and this is why he refused to come on. But I'm perfectly able to sit here, as I've shown, and not say anything, let you guys talk. So let's go back to
You're not
to
letting
both
me
of
talk
them.
right now.
Because you just made a claim that I'm.
Can I
Okay,
respond
go ahead.
to
Joe.
anything that John said, or is he literally
You-
going to say?
Yeah, you only have
Yes,
ample
yes,
time. You
yes,
just
you
gotta be
do.
patient.
I'm
Delay
going to do a
gratification is tough,
5-minute
Hunter.
thing because I'm not doing that. We're
That'd be
having a
great.
discussion
Can you
back
speak
and
for
forth.
5 minutes extemporaneously? Are you afraid of that?
No, it's not that I'm afraid of it. It's that a real debate is you say something, then I ask a question, then we kind of build upon that and have more of a conversation, not just you get to
That's
rant in your
not
corner for 5
accurate.
minutes.
I didn't even go to college, Hunter. I know the collegiate level debate. There's the first affirmative, there's the first rebuttal. It goes in blocks. So I'm going to
This is
continue
a
with what I was
formal
trying to say here. Well, it is. I would like to think that we can operate at that level. I have a great amount of
I
respect for
can't
you.
believe
Believe
that
it or
your
not.
version of a debate, you're so scared to
We gotta
actually just
stop.
talk back and forth. Are you afraid of my soy face?
You're not letting me talk. My brother in Christ. You got to stop. I'm going to just
My brother in
continue.
Christ.
Anyway,
You won't shut the
the
fuck up.
idea, the idea. You're so tough, dude. Like,
I never
don't understand
agreed to
whole
this. You're literally just ambushing me and then saying, "Oh, it's a formal debate now, so you have to be quiet for 5
It
minutes."
is. It
Let's
is
actually
real.
talk about it.
Yeah.
Why do you think
Real.
that diversity does not benefit the military? What's your evidence of this?
See, I was going to continue. Anyways, the idea that diversity does inherently benefit the military, like in that video in particular, I think I was mainly talking about diversity in terms of sex and in terms of sexuality. So, like, literally, if you're going to argue that diversity in terms of sexuality benefits the military, what you're saying is that people whose identity center around anal sex and genital mutilation have something to offer to the military. Like, they could read something written by von Clausewitz or something written by Sun Tzu, and they could actually amend that text and have a better idea of how to conquer enemies and defend borders than these people. And this kind of gets into the other thing. Well, even if not in terms of strategic innovation, in terms
That's a pretty shit tier take, I would argue.
I mean, like the first layer there is the like preparatory like for genocide take that equates all like expressions of like homosexual gender identity as inherently sexual. Like even leaving that aside, the idea that like being able to understand like a different culture wouldn't make you like better at like infiltration. Like he thinks that like all military is like generals with pieces on a like chessboard. Very often it's about infiltration and like
I think
which even just like different identities is still beneficial.
I think that's a great point because I'm pretty sure they think of the military as like Civ 5.
Yeah,
Like-
like top down.
Yeah, like that you could just kind of move checker pieces around. But I mean, the military is a broad band, like a broad spectrum from like engineering to personnel. So like at some point, like at somewhere, like we just need manpower even.
I'm sympathetic to the idea that like you're not going to be like an inherently better like drone pilot because you're gay or something, but like the unspoken like premise of his idea is that it's somehow worse to have them there. Like that, like the default is that they're not there.
Yes. Yeah. Not like we have well documented history of like gay soldiers from like World War II. Like, pretty sure they shot Nazis still. I'm pretty sure they did a good job at it. Yeah.
terms of technological innovation. They have something to offer there because he mentioned as well on the battlefield, only 10% of people are going to see combat, right? Now, in my opinion, that's more of an argument against the fact that the military has basically become a jobs program, less against the fact that, it's not actually going to have a lot of people on the battlefield, but you've got the innovation at least, if not the combat aspect. The thing with that though, is if you say you're going to have 1 million people that can be in the military, just to use that number. If you're going to just stock it with people, for diversity's sake, you're going to want to stock it with the most people who are the most likely to innovate. Because obviously, I'm less innovative than the woman that he mentioned who created that technology. But on average, I think that's what's important to look at. And
He
if you
was
look
to
at
argue that
diversity,
gay
95%
people aren't creative.
Yeah.
Where's he going with this?
Like he tries to like or do around this like by using like the on average like argument, like women on average ... and then he'll like put it out there like I think he might do this, but I tend to notice like reactionary thinkers will be like, well, your counter evidence isn't actually counter evidence. Like you didn't, congratulations, you found the one outlier, and like Like, no, it's a piece of counter evidence that you do not account for.
I feel like as much as that's like a critique that of like very much like the alt-rights, I feel like that's just a very human reaction though. And I'm sure that whenever like something doesn't fit into my worldview,
Yeah.
I also reject it.
Yeah, I guess that's a fair point. But I would argue that it could like it extends to like larger narratives of like what you wish to include.
I mean, I think it kind of extends just to what degree each side uses the scientific method, because the whole point of the scientific method is that like you can kind of control for your own confirmation biases.
Yeah.
And so just a lot of the like the left very much hasn't abandoned like universities as an institution the same way the right has. So they very much still are grounded by scientific institutions in a way that I think that the right no longer is.
Yeah, I mean, when you dive headfirst into anti-intellectualism as like a talking point. Yeah.
So I think that like it's less like people on the left don't also have their own confirmation bias and just reject stuff that doesn't fit into their worldview. I think they just happen to have worldviews that are more scientifically based.
Yeah.
And more things happen to fit into them. I know a lot of people on the left who I don't think would have reasoned themselves into this position if they didn't like have scientific institutions pushing them there.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely the echo chamber of like the Facebook pages that like,
yeah, like the
liberal,
Facebook moms.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like the liberal Facebook moms definitely find themselves in, and like will regurgitate like the meme on there, but like so will QAnoners. One just happens to be usually a bit more based. I think you're right about that.
Which I feel like is very scary to realize that a lot of people who happen to have like more scientifically grounded opinions, it's not because they are generally more scientifically grounded. It's just because they happen to be following institutions that point them in that way.
Well, I think there's a general acknowledgement among those people that the scientific method is the method to like try to derive from. So like whatever science says is probably going to be better off than.
But I don't think a lot of individuals who are there are really able to use the scientific method to its full capacity.
No.
That's kind of more what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like the convergence of like people on the left's opinions and scientific like evidence, and like therefore the ability to incorporate more pieces of information. I think it's more coincidence than like
causal.
Them just being like better at like debate and like changing their minds.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Like everyone's terrible at changing their minds,
That's very true. Yeah, we'll see where he heads with this one.
Which is an actual figure. 95% of the innovation, both scientific and technological, that took place on this planet between, I think, 800 BC and 1950 AD was done by European men. I don't know why
that's not the
Hold on. This was the moment I was waiting for.
Sorry. What were his time ranges there?
Yeah,
Hold up. That's a broad one.
We're going to play this at normal speed and a bit louder, just
important to look at. And if you look at virtually 95%, which is an actual figure, 95% of the innovation, both scientific and technological, that took place on this planet between, I think, 800 BC and 1950 AD was done by European men. I don't know why that is.
That's not.
Any historical errors you wish to take out of your quiver?
I don't even know which one to do. I mean, like, he seems to, like, first of all, Europe was, at no point in that, like, time period was Europe this, like, scientific bubble. Like, particularly for, like, a good, like, 800 to 1,000 year chunks there. Like, we named them the Dark Ages because of how, like, devoid of scientific advancement Europe was, and we named our periods because we were so Eurocentric around what state Europe was in. At that point, it was mostly being held up by, like, the Islamic world, which I guess if you take the whole, like, the Roman Empire never died, then are they, like Western civilization white men too? Are you calling Arabs white? Like, not to even mention the fact that, like, Arabic numerals for us are Hindu numerals for Arabics because they got a ton of shit coming out of India influencing them. Like, not even getting into the Silk Road, bringing paper and gunpowder and shit over from China. Like,
yeah, as well.
I don't know. That's just such a broad and like not true claim. 95%. Where did he come up with that statistic?
Whoa.
That's just all guts. Look, he made that up.
Yes and no. He didn't make it up, but somebody else did.
Oh, is he citing some like Bible of whatever the fuck ideology this is. Is this the paleo-conservatism?
Well, he's a paleo-conservative, yes, but this is the bell curve book that I was
Oh
that
boy.
we were chatting before stream. So the bell curve book, and if our viewers don't know it and need a good YouTube video or just a good piece of literature to go over to not believe anybody that cites the bell curve, go check out Sean's video. I'll pull it up real quick. The Bell Curve was a book written like 1970s, I want to say, and it was written by a guy called Charles Murray. Oh, sorry, it's published in 1994. But it cites studies from like South Africa during apartheid, and tries to like derive the intelligence of like the races there, as well as just randomly kind of lumps like sections of like Africa as like one race type of thing. Like, not obviously that race isn't just a social construct of no well-defined bounds, but this is a book that's been heavily like debunked. That video does a great job going over how bullshit the foundings of it are. So that's where that 95% number comes from.
Lovely.
Exactly.
But like this, the very fact that you had to bring that up just proves to me that this guy's just gonna be going off like on totally unfounded tangents that I'm just gonna have to like burn brain cells over.
Exactly. This is soup will be between your ears after this.
Not
But
the
that just
relevance.
happens
The
to be
fact
the
of the
case.
matter is that
No,
at the
it
end.
is.
Hold on, wait.
That
Are
just
you
happens to
serious
be
right
the
now? You're
case.
actually
So
just
my
gonna do?
point is-
I'm gonna hang up and leave. Okay. If you don't let me actually talk and respond to some of this bullshit,
I'm almost done. I promise.
why
I
are you just
promise I'm almost
talking?
done.
You think this is one of your videos right now? You've made
Yeah,
like 50
right. I'm trying
claims.
to
I'm not going to be able to
create an
respond to
argument.
all of
I'm
them.
trying to-
You're trying to
You would if
gish
you would
gallop
take
me,
notes and
John.
listen.
You're trying to
I'm not.
gish
I
gallop me.
promise
Yeah.
you I'm not.
You're so mad right now because
Promise
you
you I'm
don't
not.
like the idea of having a conversation. You're used to just
You're
sitting
literally
down and saying,
melting down. You're
heck
about to
off,
walk
commie,
away.
LOL. You're
Real?
breaking from your
Real?
script. I know. You're really scared right now.
Real?
So again, when
You're the one
you
who's
say,
afraid to talk for 5 minutes. You
I'm not
can't do it
afraid to
without
talk
your
for
little
5 minutes.
reaction.
I'm actually interested in
Dave-
talking to you, not just
Okay.
talking, then
Then
you
let me
talk,
just
then
get
I
a
talk.
couple more little bullet points out here.
How many
So this
bullet points are
idea
you going to
again
get out
about
till
the
I get to
groups
actually
that
respond
innovate.
to?
You torture me so.
Come on, this is
I
how
do.
debates work, dude.
This
This
is
is
not
the
how a
shitty
debate
part. I do have
works.
to admit, this is not.
This is
Anyway.
not how a debate works, my dude. Why don't we
So
actually
the idea
talk?
that like, oh, we have this one anecdote.
Oh.
We have this one anecdote of this woman who invented this particular piece of technology, this minority who invented this particular piece of technology in a vacuum. If you were to keep pumping the military with, say, European men, which is traditionally the founding stock of our military, eventually they would have come up with that technology. That's just a fact. Eventually they would have.
It didn't take long for him to say the next ridiculous piece of shit. To I guess essentialize his argument there, just because other people made it doesn't mean we wouldn't have made it.
Like this still just like prefaces the idea that like there's like you need to like prove a reason to include non-European men in the military. Like
Mm-hmm.
what like so that premise is just like the reason why I expect everything about his arguments to be like kind of very strange and convoluted,
Yes.
which it very much is.
Yes. So we'll see. Let's see.
Because we can infer that from the fact that they've invented like virtually everything else. So
Do you think that
I
has
guess
anything to
then
do with
you
the
have
fact that oftentimes like white people were dominating the country? So like, for example, you could say like, hey,
why
black
was that?
people
Because
didn't.
we're good at innovating
Well,
stuff.
no, you could say like, hey, how come black people didn't really present any good inventions during the time that they were enslaved or during the time that Jim Crow was in place? Like, I don't think it's fair for you to just say, well, look, Europeans did this, and that's just because they're European. LOL. That's not how this works. What it is that oftentimes Europeans held more power and they were in a privileged position where they were able to innovate at faster rates. But it doesn't mean that that is intrinsic to the fact that they are in fact European. And again,
Well,
I'm not.
then, okay, I have
but
a
you keep
question
trying to
about
call what I'm saying like an anecdote. That's an example of some things
Sure.
that's some of the things that women have contributed or gay people have contributed. Sure, but it's not just that. Again, it's that by having diversity, you avoid this idea of groupthink. You break away from groupthink, and you are able to innovate faster. Why is it?
Groupthink is good.
But okay, no, it's
Okay,
not.
so
That
we're gonna-
literally.
That's interesting as hell.
Yeah. You know.
So there's an interesting idea that actually like I learned about in the Three Body Problem. My favorite book of all time, I think, as of right now. And it's called Military Democracy, MD for short. Just search military democracy. Or maybe Three Body Problem, military democracy. I'm not sure if it's actually like a thing or something that they made up.
Military.
But assuming that this guy didn't make us about a whole cloth, and this is actually something that happened in the Chinese army during the revolutionary period. Try just searching military democracy, China.
Must wiki. Let me see.
Yeah. No.
Let me go back to that New Yorker. Was it this one, Lou?
Well, that is the book, but let me see if I can find
Yeah,
what I'm thinking of right now. Permit me a minute here of googling, maybe.
Oh yeah, no, I think that this is the fun of it. We act like this to me sounds like already a really cool tangent because I do not know about the 3-body problem.
Favorite book of all time. You should read the Wikipedia summary of it.
Yeah.
It's book review here. Incredible book. Read it.
This book. Piece of science fiction. What's inspiration maybe? Trotsky. Background, whale song. I think though, just in general, to speak about like groupthink, and he kind of alludes to the idea that even not thinking together is somehow less cohesive of a group, or something. Like somehow if like you bring people of different backgrounds, it somehow creates a less cohesive group. I mean, that's also just brain dead. Here's the 3-body problem.
Oh, I think this might be it.
Perfect.
Or I'll like a
yeah
paper about it.
DM me about
let me just search in it first.
3-body problem. Here's the physics 3-body problem for physics. Yeah. Yes.
It's based off of this.
Yes, the gravitational force of the first one minus the second one minus the third one. The third one minus the first one. Yep. I'm just enjoying physics. During the Cultural Revolution, the Royal Red Guards, Mongolia, needs help in transcribing a government letter. The letter details policy suggestions based on the book Silent Spring, which Yi reads. However, the journalist betrays Yi, who is then sentenced to prison after the letter is viewed as seditious by the government. In prison, 2 military physicians working under the Red Coast, a secret Chinese initiative to use high-powered radio waves to damage spy satellites.
Also, I've given up on trying to find this. But the idea of the thing was that like during the Revolutionary War, a lot of the like a technique was kind of adopted by a lot of the units of military democracy, in under which like a plan was subject to review by like everyone in the like cohort, whatever like military unit they'd be in, so that like anyone had like local knowledge or like knowledge about like certain weaknesses the opponent might have, or like just sees a flaw in their plan that no one else does, has time to voice that. And that like the more perspectives you can subject something to, like I don't know, like the idea that like someone can't abstract how just having like a bunch of different perspectives on stuff would not just make you stronger, even like without needing proof. Why would you risk depriving yourself of that? That seems like just like risking weakness. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's race realism is at the end of the day what he's getting at, which is like the hierarchical racial structure, which is completely asinine. That like we don't all have like overlapping, strengths and differences. Like I don't know, we're not that,
like,
we're not
like
that
overlapping,
different.
but like the strongest like empires you see in history are ones that incorporate like subgroups and like draw from their strengths. Like all the Romans do is copy shit other people do. Like the Mongols were so successful because they like impress servicemen from wherever they conquered to like strengthen their army with whatever their local area was good at. They got siege engineers from China. They got like other local groups to like be like, if you can ride a horse, hop on. If you can do this job, like you live. If you can't, you're dead.
Yeah. One good way here is race as a human categorization. Race is a categorization of humans based on shared physical or social qualities. Yada yada yada. The term was first used to refer to speakers of a common language and then denote national affiliation. By the 17th century, the term began to refer to physical phenotypical traits. Modern science regards race as a social construct and an identity, which is assigned based on the rules by society. Mixed race is a really good answer there of like, the fact that this does break down pretty.
My favorite thing is that like I'm like basically like my race is white, but like even like 60 or 80 years ago, like to be like Irish or Italian versus like German or like there was like they didn't see themselves as the same race whatsoever. Like throwback to Irish need not apply. Like the white race is something that we just got made up when we wanted to cram everyone of European ancestry onto suburbs.
Yeah. Benjamin
It's
Franklin.
very strange.
Franklin shared his concerns about the Germans. They weren't as smart as other people living in the colonies. Well, German engineering is now a thing that was clearly not inherent.
Well, you're also getting like the people who are emigrating from Germany are the people who aren't really like having the opportunity to like be engineers. So
especially at this time, there's like completely different selecting factors about why you would see that. Confounding variables, I think it would be called. So this is lunacy, but let's see how much further he can go.
Weakens the military.
Let's go point by point. No, it doesn't. Let's go point by point then. I want to talk about the Europe versus Africa thing.
No, we're not going to talk. This has nothing to do with the actual military thing. I know that I know you got to get back to your script. I understand you have to get back to your script. Okay, but hold on. We're actually talking now.
I'm watching this actually thinks that your brain's operating at a higher level. I mean, I'm thinking.
I haven't been able to say a word, my dude. You've literally been just talking nonstop, and the non-biased mod isn't even helping at all. So this is exactly why.
I'm sorry, Hunter. I thought when I spoke earlier, I was being too biased. Okay, John, let's give Hunter a few minutes to say what he wants to say. I didn't want to appear too biased because
So let it be known that I said that I was more than happy to debate John Doyle, and
you did not. No.
Shut up, Andrew. So I said that I was more than happy. All right, I'm going to mute. So I said that I was more than happy to debate John Doyle, for example, on Modern Day Debate, and I said Modern Day Debate, and on Modern Day Debate they reached out multiple times, John, because you were going to be biased, and you've now let John go on
complaining further. Just say what you want to say.
Okay, so again, my claim is you are benefiting innovation on the military. My claim is that by letting more people into the military of all different diverse backgrounds, you are benefiting innovation. And John, I know that you say like that's not true, blah blah blah, wham wham. But you need to tell me then how come we have found not one, not two, but multiple different studies that have all shown that when there is more diversity, the companies innovate at faster rates. Can you please answer why that is the case?
Yeah, I do want to address the one study that you cited in particular, the murder mystery study, which you said was proof that diversity is good. On the surface, it's like murder mystery being equivalent to warfare. Okay, but you have to look at the difference between the two. I mean, you have something like a murder mystery, right? That's like a social deduction scenario. You have a finite pool from which to draw, and then maybe you can find who did it, so to speak.
And
versus like literal open modern warfare, right? So what I'm familiar with in terms of the literature,
it's not all modern warfare.
I know you have low impulse control, but you just have to stop, okay? You want to go back and forth, and we have to go back and forth. So in terms of the literature that I think alludes to some of this, like corporate diversity being good, military diversity being good, oftentimes what they find is exactly that perspective thing that you're talking about, where if you have a more diverse group of people, then they're better able to assess situations critically. Right. That's the problem, because all of the literature that's supporting that claim, you have to be careful of what that is implicating, because they're not saying that they're actually better at producing the correct outcomes for situations. Literally what they are saying is they are better at critical thinking. Why is that? That is because when you have more people from different backgrounds, they are more likely to disagree on things, which they define positively as critical thinking. I would disagree with that, because again, I want to get back to the Europe versus Africa thing, because you said that the reason
this is that disagreement point that I mentioned earlier, that somehow disagreement makes a less cohesive unit.
I would like to draw on the example of the Russian army in World War II, because if you disagreed with your commanders, you got executed. And so there would be times where commanders would just send tens of thousands of troops into machine gun fire, knowing that they couldn't break through, knowing they just all get mowed down because they had commands from the top, and if they talked back and told them that was completely unreasonable, they would just get killed for disagreeing, essentially. Insufficient, like, revolutionary spirit or whatever the fuck.
Damn. And in doing so, caused a huge gender imbalance in their culture, causing vast problems post-war. So.
In Africa didn't have a competent military or innovation, so to speak, was because of
I
European
didn't say
oppression.
Africa. No, that's not what I said. I was just making a broad point
we
about the
talked
European thing.
about-
But hold on, what you just
okay.
said as far as the...
Well,
Well,
I
wait,
just
I
have
just want to
one
respond to what you
question,
said really
I
quickly,
promise.
because you didn't answer my
Okay.
question either. But first of all, when you have people, you just admitted it, that when you have people, you have a lot of different ideas, you have a finite pool of information to pull from, and that is a benefit of diversity. Second of all, the study that I just referenced to you was not actually the murder mystery one. I was bringing up a study which looked at different banks, and they found that innovation-focused banks increased, or innovation increased in racial diversity, that was clearly related to an enhanced financial performance. So when you say they're not looking at the outcome, they are looking at the outcomes. The outcomes are specifically benefiting by having more diversity. And this isn't just in private firms where this has been discovered. Even the military itself has found that when women are involved in complex problem solving, they solve problems at faster rates than groups that are just made up of men, for example. So what's wrong with this? Why don't we want our military to be strong and efficient?
I would be curious to see the sample size from that one pertaining to women, because men are more rational than women, and so I would imagine that's no.
Um,
Really have any studies to cite to really like specifically bat this one down, but that's a pretty broad statement.
yeah.
And
I mean,
also, like, the quantification of intelligence, like, that's not even like, that's a whole different like can of worms that I don't even want to open up.
yeah. I mean, that's what when I was looking at that study last night about farmers and income when it comes to like IQ. Like I was worried about how they were measuring that, because like when you do that, you start to like tiptoe on you know, the metaphysical like idea of like intelligence. But also like I think we can speak to like a experience. Like there have been women who at school were amazing leaders, great engineers. Like this doesn't like bear out.
Like, I've worked with many like female engineers who are good and many female engineers who are bad, just like
Yeah.
I've worked with many male engineers who are good and many male engineers who are bad. And very often like the female engineers who take on more leadership roles like will have more emotional intelligence, not to make broad sexist generalizations, but
Yeah.
if we are going that route and you do preface like the idea that like there's a difference in the kinds of intelligence that men and women have, that would strengthen your any like military operating type units, I'd imagine.
I want to say, let's see if I can quickly find it. The last standing bank in Iceland, 2008. There was one bank that stood that didn't collapse or something, and it was one of the more like I think it was like the most diverse board, and like the idea was that like they hadn't bought into some of the cronyism, because they had like naysayers that like stopped some of that. So crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like so in that kind of stuff,
Mhm.
being able to lead to like large historical trends.
Yeah,
I think it's definitely true that like I don't know, like yeah,
I think
like,
it's just funny that you
I
could
think in that
also
instance they did a good job.
yeah. I think it's also just funny though that you could just point to one like time too and just be like, well, you know, you might not like, you know, if it happened once, like how do you explain it from his like his side?
It's not
That's
a
a
lie.
lie. It is.
It's absolutely not a
No,
lie.
it's a lie.
And there's even studies supporting that too.
No, there isn't. There's
but
studies
anyway,
reporting the complete opposite, but I know that you kind of have to just make up stuff. But okay, go ahead. What were you saying?
Wait, I have one more
So,
historical
like, if you
example I
take
want to bring up.
Yeah.
So a lot of the Roman accounts of the Germanic tribes that they fought in the Republic period of the Republic. I don't know. I don't know the precise classifications of Roman eras, but um, they were migrating with like their entire village, so like men, women, and children all like a part of the same wagon train.
Mm-hmm.
And when they got to the battlefield, like this mirrors very much what the Romans would do. The Romans would have 3 lines of their military, and they would have the weakest people out in front, followed by like the next strongest people, followed then by the really old veterans, and that like provided the benefit of like if those people fell back, then like the next people were like psychologically were supposed to be stronger.
Mm,
And also it gave you just like 3 like layers of like buffer.
gotcha.
But if you want to throw everything at all at once and you want to have that same benefit but have everyone on the front line, then you make your second line out of the woman. And if you run around just like it was the job of the veterans in the back of the Roman army to kill you, it was the job of the woman to kill you if you ran. The woman from your own tribe was supposed to kill you.
Wow.
The idea being that would like incentivize your military performance. And if you think about like the dynamics on the battlefields, you just double the size of your front line.
Mhm.
Well, you still have the same psychological benefits.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
Like whatever this guy's like picturing when he thinks about like warfare seems to be like he's thinking about the guys who are actually in combat.
mhm.
But for every like one person in combat, you need like 8 people behind the lines, like supplying them, feeding them, like getting them ammo,
Absolutely. I mean, we're seeing that with Russia getting
killing
thrown
them
out
if
in
they run
Ukraine.
away.
Yeah. The Mongol, army is a pretty good, empire. Even was like a pretty good representation of like how like bringing groups in creates the literally largest empire ever seen. Period.
You can kill 40 million people if you incorporate enough cultures as you do so. And
Yeah.
you grow like a snowball.
Damn. Well, let's see where he heads.
Sample size of high IQ women and compare them to average IQ men, they're going to be better at solving those problems. But if I took 100 women off the street and 100 men off the street, I mean, you would be delusional to suggest that the women would be better at solving the problems than the men would. I mean, it's just a fact.
No, not at all.
And so,
It's not
in
true.
terms of the social production, it is true, dude. Like,
It's not
I
true.
don't know if you're lying. I don't know like what kind of bubble you live in to actually believe this. It reminds me of the Trump tweet. Like, is this even possible to believe?
You haven't
This
provided
idea
any evidence. You're just saying, like, obviously this is the case. I have evidence after evidence after evidence that shows that the Marine Corps, for example, found that including women resulted in just as good, if not better, cognitive performance with these challenging problems. I have information showing that when women are involved in high firm companies, they perform better the more diversity is implemented in those companies. This is a clear evidence that women are not less rational than men. You're going to have some women that are less rational than men. You're also going to have some men that are less rational than women. They have done studies where they presented men and women with complex moral problems, and at the end of the day, men and women were just as rational. This is just a lie that you're saying right now.
No, it's not. There's a really good book that I don't think you'll read, but if anyone's interested, it's called The Rationality Quotient. It's how to quantify actually.
No,
thinking
it's not.
rationally. And
No,
they found,
can't hear you.
Uh,
Like that's the problem if you ever try to debate someone. Just period.
yeah.
If you
absolutely.
don't agree on the sources, then you're just gonna be like, well, here are my sources, and they say I'm right. Well, here are my sources, and they say I'm right.
Yeah.
Well, here are my sources, and they say your sources are wrong.
The big hope here is to come across in some aesthetic way to more appealing to their community than they are to yours, and to hope to drag some over, and then like when they start to listen to you maybe 1 or 2 times, like maybe then you could start to add in your sources and have them stick better when you have a better chance. But that's really all that this is at the end of the day, is appeal to 2 audiences.
I think a 0.67 or 0.68 advantage in terms of rational thinking for men. So again, I don't even think this is worth addressing. But again, what you're arguing, I'm frankly much less concerned about like all of the studies and things like that. I'm talking about like what we know about world history. What you are arguing is that all of the conquests of, for example, the Roman Empire would have been better if you would have had more women involved or more gay people involved or things like that. And this is why I don't know why you.
Thoughts on the Roman Empire?
The second thing the Roman Empire did upon becoming a city was to steal all the women from the Sabines. Like, they were like, shit, we're just a bunch of dudes living by a river. We kinda need women. You can't have a Roman Empire unless you have a population base. Like, I don't know. That's also like extrapolating the military to be like the city as a military like production like site, which I don't know. Thinking about things from Civ 5 scale, I guess it is. But all the Romans did was steal shit from other cultures and other people. Like the debate we're talking about right now might be like gay people. But first of all, they were all already gay. Gay people in the military was like that was don't even like get me started on the amount of like gay shit in classical militaries.
Oh my god! I mean,
But
even in like semi-modern militaries, yeah, this is such an ahistorical take that it would be interesting if he was confronted and asked like, well, there was gay relationships in Rome and
I forget
Greece.
which like, but there was like some is like the Corinthian like 3 something, but like the whole thing was that they were all like gay lovers, and that was like supposed to make them fight harder. Like that was like a literal Greek military unit. And
Or should I type in gay ancient Greek military unit? The Sacred Bands of
elite,
Thebes.
yes, the sacred bands. That's the one. Yep.
Oh,
Ending
I
Spartan
love it.
domination.
Formation.
Yeah.
That is hilarious that there's an entire ancient unit dedicated to being gay and fighting better.
Yes. Like, I'm not like saying gay shit in like any derogatory way. Like, they were literally having like gay love. Like,
Yeah.
that's what they were. That was their whole thing.
Oh my god, it's amazing. I love ahistorical takes. That's cool. I did not know about that. See, this is why I wanted to do this. Like, it's cool to know about like the German thing. It's cool to learn about that, the three bodies problem. Let's see what other good historical things that we might get to touch upon because of his stupidity.
Are so like afraid of this comparison. But when you're talking about like, Africa was at a disadvantage versus Europe, well, why then was Europe able to come in and colonize Africa? If we were really at a level playing field, they have more natural resources than Europe. Why weren't they able to man the defenses? I understand that, but listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying that innovation is more likely to come from European men, as evidenced by literally 95% of all of it. You're saying no. I'm saying, okay, well, if that's not the case, why was Africa not able to defend itself from European colonization?
These are completely unrelated. The European colonization had everything to do with advanced levels of technology, even different climates.
Where did that come from?
Hold on, even different climates had an effect there. This idea of, well, Africa can defend itself, therefore minorities are not good for innovation is irrelevant. This is one of the weakest arguments I've ever heard. We need to combine and look at how diversity interacts with the military and in actual companies, because that's how the military is. You keep saying, well, what about the fighting field?
I agree with that. The military is a company. Get that?
Well, no, it's not just a company, but it's a group where there is a large amount of people that are all working towards a common goal. And if you actually want to talk about world history, I mean, you can look at historical examples.
Companies are
Since
pretty
the
good
1800s,
analogy.
for example, armies with high rates of inequality have done.
I think a company's not a bad analogy there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're all aiming towards pretty well centralized goal, if not an array
Well, not
of goals.
necessarily in that sense. I would say there's a lot of people who are really like perversely incentivized and who don't really care about like a company or the military's operation. Like whoever schmucks like loading pallets onto the cargo plane probably isn't like really committed to pulling towards whatever like large scale goal. But it's a very complex system of like people who like motivated correctly like function like kind of like harmoniously to like achieve whatever goal like is set out ideally.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good take on that.
Poorly, according to all kinds of measures. One statistical analysis focused on armies with high rates of inequality, and that they found that increased the odds by 50% that an army will suffer more casualties than it inflicts on the other side. So that's some world history for you right there. When you are discriminatory, or when you don't properly include minorities into your group, you lack positive outcomes. You weaken the military. You weaken the morale. And again, I don't know why you keep going back to this Africa thing. At the end of the day,
Just to pause it real quick, you had talked about the Mongolian Empire using immigration as almost like a vampire-esque mechanism.
Oh, I was talking about during the Warring States period, the Qin Empire. But the Mongols, whenever they conquered an area, they would just impress the local population into their service. Sorry, yeah, correct.
Fascinating.
Look up their Reformation in like 300s BC. Legalist reforms, yeah.
This one?
Yeah, maybe not. Don't click on legalist. Just click on the school of thought. But see if you can scroll down to that era in their history. No, just go to the table of contents. Why? There's a table of contents for. Come on.
I was following these guys.
Origins and early development. History 1.1.
The growth of Shangyang, a Qin statesman, introduced a number of military advantage reforms in 361 BC till his death in 338 BC. Yang also helped construct the Qin capital. Does it note which ones what he did?
It might not. It may not touch upon it here. But basically, during this time period, what they realized, because they were like very much just off in the sticks, very underdeveloped western regions of China during the time period, and in order to industrialize, quote unquote, for whatever that would have meant in that time period, and get a population producing like soldiers and people producing like grain for shipments on their supply lines, and basically to have the economy to support a military that was necessary in the Warring States period, they like basically threw open their gates to immigrants from all their surrounding areas, particularly trying to get all the like intellectuals and really like high skilled people to come. And by doing that, they sucked away those people like vampirically from their rivals while strengthening themselves.
That's sick. Yeah, it says here Qin disregarded military tradition, taking advantage of the enemy's weaknesses. That's a kind of a cool like concept of like you know, actually adapting to the times and adapting to situations better without archaic tradition.
Something that I've been kind of like always very confused about is like why, like, there's like it seems like you can kind of like gain strength through like cooperation, and like I feel like you don't really see like that recognition often coupled with the desire for power. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
like you can be like malicious through cooperation.
Openness to employ talented men from other states.
Yep, that's the one.
Damn.
That's the one.
A large, efficient army and capable generals. They utilize the newest developments in weaponry transportation as well as many of the enemies, which many of the enemies lacked. These later developments allowed them great mobility over several different terrain types and were not most common in many regions of China. Thus, both in ideology and practice, the Qin were militarily superior. Wow.
Imagine what happens when you open your gates to immigrants.
The mountains.
Well, provided you set up a actually like helpful like way for them to spend their lives.
Yeah, helpful
Like if
structure
you
to
just like
incorporate them.
if they don't have any access to any opportunities, then yeah, you're probably not gonna have the best outcomes. But if you like have a good like structure and format you can like replicate and like have another like group go out to like colonize a new farm out in the hills.
Damn. That's awesome. That's a cool historical draw.
Have multiple different studies that have shown that when women and black people and minorities are included in these firms, they do better. You're just denying this. You're just denying it right now.
Okay, I have another question. Help me understand. If we know that if you have a group of like, say 50 bland vanilla white men and you throw in black people and women, you're saying that'll help that company do better, that military operation do better, then why then in the places in the world where we see the most black people or the most any sort of minority group, why then are they not doing as well as where we see the most groups of like white male dominated spheres?
Sure,
if that's the
I can
case.
answer that.
Because they're not
Structural racism.
Also, they're not inherently superior. That's not the argument. They're the same. Like, there's not a certain level of like, oh, if a little's good, a lot's better. No, because that would also be assuming that they're somehow superior. They're not. They're just fucking humans.
So wouldn't they be equally undiverse if they're entirely black? Like
Exactly.
isn't the debate here about diversity? Like not to say that like that's like something I'd use as evidence, but I don't really see how that supports his point either. Also, where is he taking this video? Is there like a roof behind him? Looks like he's on his like mom's patio.
Well, you can see there's a rifle behind him. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
nice.
he's
trying to flex.
I'll show you a quick picture of his setup that he's got. I'm pretty sure he's on his phone though, which is a bit strange.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
don't know why.
See his earbuds.
Yeah. Also, actually, I'll take this back real quick. It also could be Hunter's clipping, what he did quickly to get it up on like OBS or whatever. Because this looks like an OBS like window capture.
Yeah, the answer to that is not that, oh, just because they're black, they somehow have a better idea, lol. What you're doing is stripping this of all nuance, and you're looking at this in one of the most delusionally reductionist ways imaginable. What it is not only diversity, it's how you properly implement that diversity. Obviously, just having a large group of black people is not going to necessarily lead to any better or worse outcome than having a large group of uneducated white people or something. That's not the key here. The key is that when you have a business or a company or something like the military, and they all have a common goal, implementing diversity in the proper way, mind you, leads to more innovation because you're pulling from a larger pool of information. There is more experience behind that, and then, like I've already demonstrated, that leads to higher rates of innovation. This benefits the military immensely. Like, I want to see the military get stronger. I want our country to be kept safe, and that's what the military does. And so it only makes sense to have a larger pool to gauge information from. That was your argument at the beginning of this.
Right. So again, it's like even in recent history, our military hasn't been able to do really anything quite effectively. I mean, we got embarrassed in Afghanistan. We were embarrassed in all of our campaigns.
We took over Iraq in a month and a half.
We just tried to we just fundamentally either willfully misunderstood or almost maliciously incompetently misunderstood that you can't fight an insurgency campaign with conventional tactics.
I mean, exactly.
Look at history. Has nothing to do with gay people being in the military.
Let's leave Afghanistan newspaper. Images. So my buddy, when the U.S. pulled out, Fire. Wakanda warns on Afghanistan. I should probably change this to withdrawal. Huh. I wonder if it's because the Soviets had gay people in their empire. Oh, wait a second. I think they were in the gulags.
Enemy of the state.
Yeah. So, yeah, that area was going to be difficult. This is going to be a problem that even like Russia faces in Ukraine if they start to have small rebellions.
The Middle East, and now it's like I really kind of want you to just think about like what you're saying to me, which is that if we are to increase, like what experience do you think, if you just had to guess, maybe it's not a study, if you just had to guess, what experience do you think the average black guy has in terms of dealing with high-level military operations, small unit tactics, that the average white guy just like doesn't have? Like what is that experience that you think he could really bring to the table there?
I don't think that anybody, white, black, gay, straight, women, whatever, have like some intrinsic understanding of the military. They would be trained.
Well, then why would you need them for military diversity?
Because you would,
better? That's the essence of your argument.
No, I think that you're literally thinking that my argument is like just take a random woman off the street and plop her in the military, therefore military gets better. That is not what I'm saying.
According to your argument, that would increase innovation.
No,
Even
my
only-
argument
even
is that
slightly,
my
yes.
argument is that when you train, obviously to get somebody in the military, they're going to have to train to be in the military. Obviously, I'm not talking about
Which
just
86% of women fail.
I'm not talking about just grabbing random people and then saying, oh, look, they're black, they must have better ideas. It's that, again, I've said this now 5 times, when you take a large group of people of different identities and they're all focused on a common goal, after all going through the same training, mind you, to get to where they are in the military, or going through the same process to be hired in a hypothetical firm, then you will see higher rates of innovation. I'm not saying that some black person just has an intrinsic understanding of the military, but guess what? Neither do any white guys, okay? They all go through a proper training, and then once they do, when they're all put in a group where they have to have a common outcome or a common goal, we see the diversity and the different experiences and different backgrounds lead to less groupthink and more innovation. And also, one more thing I really want to quickly address. You said like, oh, we haven't really seen our military do anything recently, yada, yada, yada. I mean, you might be right. I don't know. You might be wrong. But at the end of the day, if you want to look at all of the different innovation that was contributed to our military during, say, World War II, for example, there was a multitude of benefits that were brought to our military from minority groups, whether they were black, women, or gay. So I don't think that you can necessarily just say that they must not have understanding. They must have the understanding.
Yeah. Oh, let's put. This is sick. How do you spell that?
Navajo.
JO code tacos. Yeah, this is like
The Navajo language had no written analog, and the Japanese sure as hell didn't know it.
like this is a great like counter to like the idea that like quote unquote like we would have eventually come up with it.
Look up the
Oh.
fighting the Allies did on New Guinea, and how they used the local knowledge and like locals to help them like navigate through the dense jungles. Australians.
New Guinea.
Oh, sorry, Papua New Guinea. I don't fucking know. New Guinea. But yeah.
Let's see. You said recapture.
Well-
Might be in this section. What do you say?
Perhaps, yeah.
Oh, MacArthur, baby.
Oh yeah. Lovely guy.
Uh,
My grandfather, the one who sends me all the racist emails, was a big MacArthur guy.
Oh god, yeah.
He gave me a MacArthur book. Mr. Let's nuke the Soviets right now. Let's just get this over with. Let's go. Let's do it.
Operation
Let me nuke China.
Unthinkable. Have you've seen Operation Unthinkable, right? The wiki page for that.
Possibly not. I'll be honest.
I'll have to send it to you after this. Essentially, other people had the same idea. I think Winston Churchill wanted to turn the nukes
Oh,
on.
that's what they called it. I knew that a lot of these guys were thinking the same thing. Just to know what they called it.
Instances were noted that officers were completely out of their depths. Men were eating meals when they should have been on fire lines, even cowardice. MacArthur relied on the division, instructed the Lieutenant General to go to the front lines, remove all the officers who won't fight, put sergeants in charge of the battalions, or not come back alive. Revitalize it. Restarted the Allied offensive. Ghana fell to the Australians. Located between 2 villages. On supply. At the tips of. I thought it was about to be at the tips of it. Let's see. Would the world's locals maybe bring it up?
I don't know what their names was. I don't know. I don't think they'd be called locals.
Nope.
Tribes, maybe?
Nope. Let's see. Maybe if I do a different one. Allied forces working with tribes in New Guinea, World War II. Huh, weird, that popped up again. Oh, yeah, this looks like it. I saw a sentence there.
Yep.
Relied on the native New Guineas to achieve victory. Wow. Entered during this, the population during this 10,000 years ago divided into numerous tribes. Possess a rich culture. Under the pressures of war, they displayed remarkable courage as well as kindness and compassion to the invaders from Japan, the occupiers from Australia and the United States. Slaves at best. With extreme brutality. Food was always scarce. We're going to get to some working together. In his memoir, Hurt from My Pillows described an encounter with a village who fled Japan. Some were, wow, they did. I don't think the full, extent to the Japanese campaign is, fully understood by the West.
It's understood by some people.
True.
It's not, I'd say it's not often very well understood. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. We're missing to do more campaigns. Come on, start working with us. Let's get to the good points. Then fighting Australian authorities treated as children, not, a whole step better, but, maybe not slaves. Primarily regarded them as a source for supplying labor. Some offered to work voluntarily, others were forced conscripts. That sounds like slavery with extra steps. As many at one time. The natives will respond in force and command. They will not be coaxed. Yikes. Get to the point where we actually work together, because apparently it mattered, huh? It said in the beginning. New dimension to the people. The Australian forces fighting the Japanese in this forbidding region suffered heavy casualties. Often in the course of fighting, wounded men became separated from the units, isolated from adequate medical care. Those captured by the Japanese could expect long, horrific imprisonment if they weren't killed outright. Natives, though, treated wounded and lost Australians with great kindness, providing them food, shelter, and carrying miles for no reward or promised. The Fuzzy Wuzzy Angels. That's a hell of a nickname. I don't know how I feel about that, but that is a nickname.
They certainly meant it with kindness, but I don't think that's okay to say.
I don't feel like that comes across in the same way that they think it might, or they are Australian, they don't exactly speak English, they do speak something like it. Fuzzy Wuzzy could be the weirdest compliment down there, but I got a feeling it probably ain't.
I think it was because they had same reason why they were called the Buffalo Soldiers.
Yeah.
The texture of their hair.
Yep. Provided aid willingly. Oh, huh, wow. Aiding us, huh? People coming together to do better. It often attempted to reciprocate kindness, providing food, medical attention. In some cases, though, arrogantly or with. Wait, didn't you just say that we did do this? Okay, I don't know where we're going anymore. I'm a bit stun-locked because this is really interesting to me that this. I never learned about this section of the campaign. Had shown was real. Was not. No one ever asked the natives' point of view. Yeah, I could imagine that they might not get heard from. But yeah, there's a quote.
Surprise! Why people are racist out there, or back then.
Yeah. Alrighty. Out of that cool stun lock, I'm gonna go look at more. That was cool and interesting. Thank you for showing that.
It's obviously a common goal.
You say multitudes. There's so many examples. Give me one from World War II.
Sure. So Alan Turing, he was a crypto analyst for the British government during World War II. He was also a gay man. His code-breaking skills played a pivotal role in intercepting coded German messages. I can give you another one. The multiplex telegram was used in World War II, was invented by a black man named Granville T. Woods. He also invented the first prototype of the gas mask. If you want another one, Heidi Lamar, she's a woman. She invented the frequency hopping communication system, which now gives us Wi-Fi, GPS, and Bluetooth. These are all things that have benefited the military, that were brought to the military from diversity. So you need to tell me, why are you in favor of weakening the military just because you don't want there to be diversity? Can you explain that one to me, please?
I'm not even anti-diversity.
They were inventors.
I just fail to see the line.
But what you don't get is Europeans. They're better. Quite frankly, if he had just responded that way, it would have just been such a better debate by him. It would have been a point where it was an argument. with no evidence, but at least it was a sentence that made sense.
Logic behind thinking that the less cohesive you make a group, the more likely it is to be able to successfully fulfill a task, which would require it to be cohesive.
I completely agree with you.
it's like,
But what
I
you're
mean,
advocating for is a
There he goes again by the idea of diversity doesn't create cohesion, which again is the idea of like races somehow can't get along.
You might have less disagreement, but I don't agree that's a good thing.
Yeah, and also like disagreement doesn't mean lack of cohesion. Like you and I, like could disagree on something but still be
We
working
very
well.
often do.
Yeah, but like even in bigger group projects, like the like.
I'm really concerned when there's no disagreement.
Yeah. Yep.
When there's no disagreement, then like either people just aren't critically thinking about the problem and just aren't really engaged with the project, or like there are issues that people just aren't bringing up and are going to come up later, or you just haven't like just thought through the problem well enough at all in the first place.
Yeah. So
lesser cohesion.
So we've only got a few minutes left, so I want to, John, you can respond to that and then wrap up your own points here, and then we'll go to Hunter. Yeah, unfortunately, it's a very busy studio. I'd love to have you both back, of course, if we can get an agreement for that.
Yeah, I don't want to end this already, man. We were just getting into a good combo.
Unfortunately, we do have another show coming up here. So John, why don't we go to you first? We can give you up to 5 minutes, and then Hunter, we can give you up to 5 minutes as well. Go ahead, John.
Do we want to not have the ending because it's gonna hurt?
I get the feeling it's going to be a spiel. I'm not really sure I want a spiel.
That's perfectly fine. Let's jump out of this. So that I wanted to subject you to, just so that we could talk about all these cool moments in history. That was really cool to me.
I apologize.
Good tight. So to put your brain back together in a mild way, do we want to move to the prepping doc?
Sure. Let's get to it.
I started one and I shared it with you. So if you go to oh no, it has to be in this one. If you go to the drive, you'll see one in there, and I've kind of divvied it out a little bit, and I think it'll be an interesting what goes in what section.
Things you need, things you might like.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose we're going to get down at the very basic level. Yeah. Food. You need food. So also, like, what kind of scenario are we talking about here? Are we talking about, like, you want to be able to, like, survive a natural disaster? An economic collapse?
Let's go with
an ecological collapse?
Let's go with like I mean, I guess for things you'll need for any of those, they're gonna be pretty similar no matter what.
Water, shelter.
Yeah. But let's go with I don't know, maybe a bit of infighting, a little bit of internal power structure crumbling.
So weapons.
Yeah. Yes.
So you're talking weapons. I don't know. I think people overrate how important guns are a lot of the times. I think that, like, something with more reusable ammo might make a bit more sense. But I don't know if that's a need, quite frankly.
Oh, no?
Like, a bow and arrow might be a bit more sustainable. Like, an air rifle might be a bit more sustainable. Like, would you rather have, like, a BB gun that can get you, like, 1,000 squirrels? Or, like, a 9mm with, like, 2 magazines?
That's fair. I've often thought about air cannons. And when you're talking about, like, compressed air type, projectile, I feel like that's a pretty good solution to it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like when we say food, we're talking like rice. If you want to hop on, you can also just like start tossing random crap in here. And
sure.
We can work it out. Rice, tuna, probably. What else would be like? I guess just general MOEs.
Why is it not letting me sign in?
Oh no,
This might be annoying.
that would be a shame.
Oh, I see. Here we are. Why are you not letting me in? Well, I might just have to do it from your end, maybe.
Oh damn, that's a shame. Well, you can message me in the chat anything that you want me to toss up real quick or voice it.
Yeah, I'll just be vocal.
Perfect.
I'll try again in the incognito tab. Maybe it won't recognize me.
I put in make sure you have plenty of socks. Socks, you know, your feet being healthy is a key for you to survive pretty much
Yeah,
anything.
Disinfectants, really disinfectants. Well, I mean, like the reason why you need like your feet to not blister up is because if you get an infected blister, you're in grave danger. That's the last thing you want. Oh, I think I'm in. I just need to do incognito for it to forget that I apparently tried to get on there a billion times. Have you shared it with me?
Yeah, it's in the drive.
I think I might not be shared in the drive. I think it might be my other accounts.
Oh, you know what? You're totally right. Let me Oh, interesting. Okay, now it's in the politics and calipers drive.
Sweet. Actually, I think I forgot to share that with my Odonata account.
I can punch it in for you. If you oh no, I don't have.
Like you have access to that.
Oh, I do. I just found the name real quick. Let me pull you off screen so I don't share your email with everyone possible.
That one? Odonata 747 that just got blown up on the screen? Yeah, that one.
Oh fuck, I put it right over it. Well, if you ever get any emails, I do apologize. They can go straight to the bin.
You already showed my entire email to everyone. I'm pretty sure. Or at least you did yours.
I did my name.
I mean, there's a reason I made a new email for this, so.
I mean, this
is not the end of the world.
This isn't my real email. Because I'm Panda.
Not Red Panda. Of course.
No, I'm thing is, I'm not big enough to be Panda. You know, they're pretty large animals, and you know, I'm not a big dude. But red pandas, pretty, you know, shoe fits.
So I'm gonna start doing research doc stuff. The best people I think to go after are the Mormons. The Mormons, they're religiously obligated to have enough like supplies prepped for like 3 months or something. They gotta like rotate through their rice pretty regularly.
Just raid their supply.
No, like we just gotta like find their prepping docks. We don't need to raid the Mormons. That's for later.
I was like really confused where we're heading with this. I'm like, wow, are we just gonna go straight to the Fed posting? But no, that also totally makes sense. There is a good amount of probably prepper list of essentials. Yeah, your ability to heat water is another one. No, I guess I shouldn't probably say that. I was gonna put like no socioeconomic, like that's not gonna like input. You know, cost isn't gonna become something that we think of.
In terms of what?
you're just gonna need it. Like,
So
Mhm.
something else that I've encountered is like what you store these in. There's a few like of the big like kind of blue barrels you can do like big grain storage in.
mm.
Yeah, this is what you're looking for. Let me share my screen. Fab. So these big like 55 gallon drums that you can just throw rice into. That's hilarious.
You can get
Yep.
pretty sizable like Costco storage ones too, that are waterproof. That is probably a key, that it needs to be waterproof.
But this is like what you can store a lot of water and what you can store a lot of food into. If you do 16 plus pieces, the unit price gets down below $70. Well below $70. You save 8% more. We just gotta get this channel to going in a bulk order together. Anyone in the New England area, let's put an orders together in.
That'd be hilarious. Yeah, if you want to ever just swing by, we can hold. Ooh, nice. Oh yeah, some type of cooking instrument.
I mean, is this like your bug out bag? Because presumably you're gonna be in your house. For most situations, you don't want to leave your house. At least not initially.
Yeah, but you might not have access to utilities.
You'll still have access to your pans.
Yes, but like a gas, like one of those mini camp stoves.
I mean, that's nice, but only for being lightweight. Like you can just go get some wood.
That's a fair point. I'll put that in the things you might like category. My only argument is like, when you consistently want to heat water, having to do a wood fire, which could, I don't know, give away positions, isn't great for indoor usage, etc. Or a camp stove that does like,
I mean, your camp stove's like furnace will burn for like a week
mhm.
of regular use. Like it's
Yeah.
not. That's not like a sustainable long-term thing.
No, I
That's like
agree.
short-term gonna be great for your bug out bag.
Yeah, and you could probably get away with you could make a little go a long ways. There's one in particular that
I have. Yeah, that's great, but
yeah.
like it's good for like backpacking. It's because it's lightweight, you know.
Yeah, I would agree. I just think it's a good because it takes up so little space. It's pretty simple to have laying around if you ever really need to get water. That's why it's in the things you might like.
I agree. I do like it.
I would say though, you should have kindling then.
I mean, newspapers are going to be pretty easy to find.
That's fair.
Like we're talking about the apocalypse, not time machine.
Oh yeah, duct tape. Duct tape's a given. You always need duct tape. There's only two engineering tools: WD-40 and duct tape.
Did you really put that under things you might need?
Yes, you need duct tape.
You do not need duct tape. Your roll's gonna run out after like a few weeks. Like things you might need, that's like I sure hope you don't need duct tape, and you're screwed after like a week.
I don't think this is like my argument would be like a 1 week thing. It would be like eventually you're gonna have to repair things. You kind of need a repair kit.
I mean, yeah, but I think like a welder would probably be more valuable. Like, get something that can actually like repair metal. Like, duct tape's pretty ephemeral in the grand scheme of things.
But like, how are you going to I don't know. That's just like that's a lot of electricity to run a welder. But at least with duct tape, again, I'm assuming kind of a grid down.
There are like gas type welders, I guess.
That's fair.
I don't know. I don't actually know shit about welding. All I know is that like you want something more sustainable than duct tape.
I would agree with you on that. I think though duct tape fixes a lot of little things that you're gonna run into. Like
Nice to
my
have.
thinking, yeah.
Nice to have.
But I know you're gonna run into them, like tears in jeans, like or whatever. You're just gonna have to like repair
That's not a
something.
duct tape problem. That's a needle and thread problem. Definitely get a sewing kit, but that's also a thing you might need. Just like I don't know, your clothes. If like this is like really that bad, your clothes are eventually gonna rot off you. You're gonna have to start like tanning hide.
Yeah, I mean, my argument is like we're not gonna have a supply chain like in an ecological disaster or like a civil war. Like you could be pretty well cut off, but depending on where you're at.
No, I'm with you. I think that like that's why relying on duct tape as a part of your plan is a bad idea.
And thread. But like then, okay, so would needle and thread be something that you need, or that it might be nice?
I don't know, I think needle and thread's like a lot more. Like a needle and thread goes a long way. If you have like a few like spools of thread, you can also start making your own thread at some point.
That's fair.
Like you can start spinning stuff. Like get some sheep, get some like animal fur. Huskies, you can spin their fur. But beside the point, like I think it's more versatile than like duct tape, certainly.
I would say based on its size, yes.
Again, this is like a bug out bag. This is like a bug in setup. I'm picturing here.
I agree. That's why I'm still saying duct tape. Like, for example, repairing holes in your wall for waterproofing, duct tape is the answer there.
I suppose. Actually, I don't know. Like duct tape's like not the best in terms of like with long-term waterproofing.
Oh well, then
Like
heavy duty
I,
tape.
I don't know. I like tape's not even gonna get you like good long-term solutions there. Like I don't know. I don't think like your prepping bags really include tape. Like it's convenient, but like
Wait, your prepping bag?
not bag. Your prepping kit should really include tape. I think it's like not something you should be worried about, or like you have the luxury to rely on. Really.
Okay. I guess, but batteries and candles.
Yeah.
Those
Again,
you need.
I think that's a nice to have. I think these are all like very
Wait.
much feel like nice to haves.
Wait, hold on. How are you gonna light anything?
I don't know, I guess maybe I'm picturing too long term for my prepping kits. Like I definitely have these things, but these feel like a good like things you might like.
But wait,
I'm picturing.
hold on.
I
Assuming,
think we have different classifications of need versus like.
well, so my thinking here is that you might not have a grid. Why would you have a grid in a place where that might have been taken out? Like in Ukraine
No,
right
I'm with
now,
you.
but so if we have to work at night, like you have to be able to see. You have to be able to work.
Then you can like light a fire or like scavenge for like some of this stuff. I think it's just I just think it's a like, not a need. I think like I guess I'm a bit stricter in this where this line is. I think that's always agree on here.
I agree with you.
In fact, I'm not even entirely sure how useful the differentiation is.
That might be true at this point, given that that's been our biggest dividing line. It just seems like if we wanted to like utilize the best to our abilities of like the day, having candles and batteries is kind of your answer.
I mean,
Like,
I agree, but I think that's a nice thing to do, not something you need to do. Like I've been like, I just went on like a big backpacking trip, and
Mhm.
we didn't really, we were like up at sunset and like asleep by sundown. Like we just became actually diurnal, like humans are generally supposed to be. Like just go to sleep. You don't really need to be like productive to what ends. Like just wake up earlier.
I don't think you get to be diurnal in a conflict. Like
I mean,
you
generally
could
speaking, a
you could
lot
get
of like
attacked at
unless
night.
you have like unless you have night vision goggles, like I'm not picturing like again something you might like. That sounds nice, but like you're in the advantage if you don't have a light and they do. They can't see you, but you can see them from a long distance away. unless they have like passive or even like some kind of night vision. Like unless they have night vision, you don't have a disadvantage.
You know, I think for the sake of it, let's just go with anything, and then we'll sort the category later by some other
I'm
dimension.
fully with you.
Okay, because I guess I slightly disagree on like how potentially useful things could end up being. Because like without a grid, like in the middle of winter, you're gonna like have very few hours to work on things.
Correct. That's why you should try to get a grid or
Oh,
like an off-grid like power system. Like batteries are finite. Like a battery bank and like a solar panel isn't.
I would say though, for some reason, that a solar panel would be a nice to need to have, not a need.
What?
Yeah.
You're saying batteries are like a nice to have, but like a solar panel kit isn't a need? How are batteries better than solar panels? Like what?
I guess I'm thinking about size because, like,
This isn't a size thing. First of all, I have like a portable charger size solar panel kits. Second of all, like
if you have
this
actually,
isn't your bug out bag. If we're making a
Yeah.
bug out bag, that should be a sub list. But like,
no, you know what? You sold me. I am wrong. Of size, that is sizable.
are you trying to like
My
fight
thinking
like
was
full tilt like up all night on caffeine pills for like 4 days and then run out of supplies? Like what are you picturing here?
no, you're right. What I was picturing was the pathetic little solar panels that can't do anything. And then I realized that if you just go up by a size or two, you actually run into useful solar panels that could actually
There's also like
sustain.
pre-made kits that are like pretty big too.
Yeah. Let's see. Solar panels. Like, yeah. Like, even that, to be fair, at that point, you are doing pretty well. That's, comparatively thinking to some other things on the list, like a gun, this is really nothing. That could be so useful. Yeah. What I was thinking was like the little
Do
small...
built-in power system.
Because your batteries can be rechargeable, and if you then have this as well, you earn a pretty good area. Yeah, like what?
I was picturing kind of just like a few like double A's.
Oh no, I meant like yeah, but you could get
Like
entire packs
for your flashlights.
Yeah,
Like I'm still talking about like a power bank that looks like a generator. Like look up like that along with that. Like add power bank like units to that.
If I just type in power bank. Oh, like these storage guys. And even still, these prices, one gun is around this. You can get. This would be a larger purchase, obviously, but yeah, 7
And
days.
also like it doesn't run out of sun like you run out of ammo.
Yeah. Nope, you're 1,000,000% correct. I was thinking on a scope that was ridiculous. Bad scope. Let me just built
Lack of scope creep.
Yep. I mean, hey, it was a good thing to note because I would have, I would have been blind and I would have been caught with my pants down potentially. In a power bank. Let's see what other rope.
I mean, yeah, fair.
Yeah, the multi-purpose knife. Already got that one. Like that paracord stuff is like pretty good.
Yeah, that's incredibly versatile.
Like
having a few spools of that.
Yeah.
Pretty reusable, generally speaking, too.
Oh, very reusable. It saved my ass in Japan.
Really?
I had a
Tents
paracord.
or
no.
Tents
So I was hiking Mount Rasu, and when I was no, sorry, not Rasu. It was the other one on the slope, Mount Io, and I had got lost on the trail. Actually, I had missed a marker. Now it wasn't like super far off, because as you'll see in the story, but I decided to go straight up a waterfall. Essentially, it was a dried out waterfall bed, and I started climbing it, and I got about halfway up, and I saw the orange tag marker for the trail, and it was off to that side, and I was about halfway up a pretty good sizable wall, and I went, I'm in kind of a dangerous situation. I got a really heavy pack on my back. This could end up badly, knowing that this was not the way I was supposed to go. So I managed to go into.
Once you're aware there wasn't a trail, you became aware of the danger. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I was like, because it had good handholds. I could get up pretty easily, even with a pack on my back. But what I was able to do was take my paracord, lower the 20-kilo pack I was carrying down, and then safely scramble down from the wall. So I'm all about it. That's why.
Good a case as any.
Yep. One of my favorite moments in the Japan wilderness. The Japanese wilderness was a great time. Much like Pacific Northwest. Very, very similar in feel. Plastic canisters. That's funny. That was
Same ones I was showing you.
Oh yeah, this is actually a really good point. Water filtration.
Yeah, I assumed under that you're going to elaborate on different types of water filtration systems.
Is there any that you'd recommend? I don't have any that come to mind.
Yeah, the MSR MiniWorks is a pretty good one. It has like reusable ceramic filters that you can get like replacement ones for after they wear down too much. Look it up right now and stream. It's pretty good.
Spare filters? Oh, that's how you spell that. I also put down iodine, just in a pinch when you might be out and about and need water. Pretty usable low weight mechanism. Not super recommended though. Have you ever had iodine water?
No, but there's also like other better filtration systems, or like water purifying tablets.
Oh, there is. I've only ever used iodine.
Just look up water purifying tablets.
Water. Let's see what we got. F-chloro. I think this is what I used. No iodine, taste, or color. Sorry, what was the one that you wanted me? The MSR mini. Water filter. Oh, yep. Yes. When we did a hike, you showed me this one, and it is amazing. Mm-hmm. I would not bother with survival straws. Pipe
straws blow.
They really suck.
Yeah.
Honestly,
it's the lack thereof in my experience.
Even more true. Yeah, this methodology was just so much better when we did a hike together. Totally 100% agree. I'm curious if there's if OEI gives a good rundown on water purification. Also, OEI is a great place to get stuff from. It's a co-op
based.
Yeah, which I'm all about, baby. Yeah, so that totally makes sense. I forgot to add that one, but that's a great one. Bottled bleach.
What for?
Another way to purify water by using bleach. Small amounts of bleach can be added and can destroy hazardous bacteria and viruses.
Drink bleach.
I mean, you know, you're
It's
in
telling
tricky
me to drink
times.
bleach.
This I would not suggest this. We've already suggested drums. Food. Freeze-dried food and canned meats. I would suggest canned meats and MOEs, but I don't know about freeze-dried. I don't think that's the same thing, is it? As the MOEs? I thought that was slightly different. But these
It's
buckets...
basically the same thing.
Gotcha. These buckets I hear are generally not as great. That you can get. Fuel source. Yeah, I would still suggest a small camping stove. Never hurt no one. Especially because it's smokeless. You never know when that might come in handy. I'm sorry, nope, fuck off. I
To recommend multivitamins.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pee it all out, but you know it's worse than that? Scurvy.
Yeah, actually, that is a really fair point that I didn't think about. Depending on how long it goes, scurvy would become a problem. Fuck. Did you just convince me that multivitamins have to be on the list? Oh, at least vitamin C.
Oh, so scurvy's the only deficiency you're worried about?
I mean, I don't know of any other ones that come to mind.
Just because you don't know about them? You're really gonna go to the store, be prepping, and say multivitamins? Nah,
No.
just vitamin C. You're gonna like pass up the bottle.
Well, I mean, because as long as you're eating protein, you don't run into some of the other common ones that we see that I've known about. I'm trying to think of what else you can.
Yeah, there's
run
amino
into.
acid deficiency stuff, I guess, but like
Yeah, as long as you're eating your canned meats. I'm trying to think about what other deficiencies that I've really heard of being problematic.
It doesn't matter. Just get a multivitamin, then you'll get none of them.
Yeah, no, you were actually 100% right yet again. I try to die on hills that ain't needed. Extra clothes, yeah. Good footwear, yes. Would I suggest keeping a pair of shoes aside?
I mean, if anyone doesn't have any shoes, I would definitely advise that they get some shoes.
Yeah, I would say also sturdy shoes. Get a working shoe.
I mean, I feel like that's the kind of life advice. Have some shoes you could hike with,
Yeah. I would also say running shoes, well-fitting running shoes. In case, you do have to move around a bunch. Gloves are another good one. Both like they're disposable, but also like a good pair of leather gloves. Oh, you know what I forgot? Gas mask.
You're not wrong.
I'll have to do some looking around of like what you really need for a good gas mask quality, but I would suggest gas mask is an answer.
Agree there.
Oh yeah, raincoat.
A lot of these feel like things that like I feel like everyone should have.
Well, I mean, you should have a natural disaster kit.
Yeah.
This
does very much double as that, but
exactly.
I just feel like if you don't have a rain jacket, like what do you just not like go outside if it's raining? Like I just don't see how that like how you're like, oh crap, I really should get a rain jacket. They're right.
Oh, they suggest a wood stove, yeah. Alternative energy source. You beat me. A bivvy. Bivvies are good, but I don't think.
I agree with that. I have a little hammock camping bivvy equivalent.
Yeah.
I'm upset that it's not very.
I don't like.
It's pretty good, but I can't just do it on the ground wherever I want to. I have a tree, so I might get a bivvy as well.
Yeah. I guess this might be me not having the proper scope yet, or thinking of the exact one. It wouldn't ever hurt to have this because look how big it is. it's perfect. It does protect from a lot of situations. It's probably just my lack of imagination why you need one in this case. But
I mean, it's just like the size of like a large thermos. You have shelter.
exactly. That's why I
Like-
think at the end of the day you can't argue with it.
Energy solutions. Charge your phone off a small solar panel pack. Yes,
Yeah.
correct. That's correct.
BioLite stove, we have stove, rechargeable batteries. Once you get, rechargeable batteries are only useful if you kind of get this, really. I mean, maybe
You know what? Like something to recharge it off of.
yeah, like that,
Yeah,
that you
I
have.
mean,
Oh, actually, yeah, this is another really good one. Get a headlamp. You gotta keep.
I also
your hand.
feel like something that everyone should already have.
Good point. I think I have two really nice ones, and they don't take much abuse because they're in your hands. Starting a fire, yeah, this should go without saying. These, yeah, if you can get stormproof matches, definitely do that.
I mean, the ferro rod's kind of the better one.
True. But
If you're in the store and you're choosing between the two of those, choose the ferro rod.
I agree. Electric lighter, that actually is really another good idea, I guess. If you're already gonna have reusable, like a power bank. Tinder. Magnifying glass. Fire starter. How large of a lens do you have to get? Oh, okay.
Like it's kind of. Oh, they have one specifically for that. Wait, how much are they?
$8.
Shit.
I'm sold.
Can you buy 2 of those?
Wait, time out. Is this a 10-pack?
Wait.
Or is it just... Why is it showing me 9 or 10?
It says size 10-pack ruler magnifier yellow. Pocket credit card wallet size solar fire starter unbreakable. Dude, this thing can't be broken.
Damn. Okay, you know what? I'm putting it down. They sold
Dude,
me.
it cannot be broken.
Oh, I guess I'll Did I already have this section? I have camp stove. Ignition source maybe? Lighting. Ferro rod and electric lighter. That's sick. I was looking at it, I'm like, dude, really? And then I realized if you can hold it steady enough and like get a good setup going, absolutely.
I've started a fire using a magnifying lens before. It's not incredibly hard. You just need to like it's all about what you're shining it on, and as long as you can get it shining on like some black bark, something that's both dark and like combustible.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get smoking, then you can blow on it, then you can just start smoking more, then you add more dust, and then you rinse and repeat.
Now this is when it gets into the self-protection post-disaster world. Humans. Hostile strangers. This is the one where it's like I don't really know if there's like a good answer at all times. Adore armor by armor concepts. I don't know what I would suggest for fortification purposes.
For fortification purposes, you don't gotta worry about like prepping anything. All you need is wood and a shovel. Palisades for days. Like take out the stairs of your house, put like boards with nails to the bottom of them down, so you have to like busy yourself with those while you're getting shot at. Like put holes pointing down through the floors, shoot through them. Like you don't really gotta prep too much to fortify.
Wood and nails. Boom.
Again, you can just scavenge those.
Yeah. Oh, then I would suggest a hammer. that you probably will be able to scavenge, but also just having a hammer, you should have one.
Agree with that.
Ammunition, yeah, for whatever projectile you choose. Bow and arrow is probably a great one. I want to make a cool compound, not compound bow. Oh yeah, I think it's a compound bow. Armless crossbow. Sometime at this channel, I'm gonna try to make a miniature version of one of these. It has no arms.
Shit. I'm in. I'm in.
I think it would be a really cool project.
Can we do design for that tonight?
Can
we stop this right now?
Yeah, sure.
Do that instead.
Let's
Okay, so what are we looking at for like what actuates that? Is that a spring? Is that spring based? Spring loaded?
Hold on. Let me find the video. There's like there's one video I'm trying to find. Almost crossbow animation. This might be a decent overhead of what it's like. So there's a little winch system, and yeah, you can see the big rotary springs here.
Oh, it's rotary springs.
Yeah. Now, I've looked around when I first saw this thing on like McMaster for rotary springs. I'm not really sure that these are a common stock. I'm not sure.
See, how big do they come?
Yeah. Let's see if this video has what I'm looking for. No, I've watched this dude. He does a good review on it. It does take a good while to reload, but I feel like that's because of what they've chosen.
Yeah, their gear ratio.
Yeah. I've seen an internal. Oh, here we go. Yeah, check out my screen.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Then there's a latch.
2 pulleys. Then a bolt. Nothing stopping you from motorizing that winch.
It comes with a motorized winch.
Nothing stopping you from making that loading process automated.
Yeah. Well, at least super speedy. So yeah, that's that was a rendering of it. So yeah, I've run into this guy a couple times. It is a really cool concept.
You got load right now. On McMaster car, looking at a bunch of different springs.
No, they
only goes up to like 40 pounds. Damn, that's upsetting. Well, I guess we can kind of like pulley it, like lever it a bunch.
That and also McMaster car springs. We don't have to stick with the same rotary style.
Yeah, we could do a linear spring.
I did look at one point, and looking at like extension springs, they have some pretty serious heavy duty ones. Like take a look here. Max load in pounds, 313, 332. You know, pretty high spring rates. Now, I don't really know how strong it needs to be. Like I would have to think about that, but I think maybe using a system like this might be better.
Yeah.
Given the fact that those are custom rotary ones.
Can we like draw this out so I can make sure like I understand how the gear ratio kind of works with this? not like sort of gear ratio, but like it goes to like a few pulleys. I want to see if it's like if we can like pull it further, and it's going to be like, under less tension, or like is there a good top-down view?
Let's see. So you have the string here. There seems to be you're definitely an inner and an outer one. Would this be springs working in series essentially to increase like tension because you have four
I mean,
of them?
I'm picturing you have like one spring that gets loaded up, and as you crank it, it kind of like slowly like stretches out as it draws it back.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it would make sense to have like it get drawn back further, then it stretches the spring.
I don't think that's what I'm looking for.
I'm gonna look at springs. Not liking the rotary springs.
I don't think because I think that's a super like custom build that they did.
Yeah.
But I think we can get away with extension style springs.
Hmm.
So here you go. If you want to watch an animation of the draw. So as you can see here, there's 3 wires. There's 3 maybe over here. So it looks like there's a doubling up into 1. So it looks like there's like 2 wires that turn into 1.
Let's see from the top. So it looks like it gets drawn back. There's like the shuttlecock gets drawn back all the way from the front, around like I think the middle 2 are connected, and
Yeah.
step that back.
I definitely think you can see that the 2 are connected on this thing. I think this thing is causing like changes it.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's like a pretty obvious thing to say.
Sure.
This thing is causing changes.
But like
we just sound like we're idiots.
no,
I get what you're saying, but it just
Yeah.
sounds like we're saying the most incredibly obvious things.
like I think this like connects the string system together. If I was
Yeah.
like trying to make a full sentence.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to say is that I think that a lot of those is just like connecting parts, not necessarily like multiple strings.
Hmm. Do you remember Tony's winch?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we connect some serious springs.
Yeah, I could. And those things are pretty cheap. I remember looking them up after he was talking about it.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Yeah. So there's that. Is there like a patent? Is there gonna be like patent drawings? Nope, that is a normal crossbow. Let's see if I can find it on Google Images. There is this style too, where it's
Like a super tight like recurve.
yeah.
Yeah. I just like the idea of using a spring though, because like springs are happy with springs.
That's very true. And the nice thing about at least some of those is you can always just have extra stock one. Oh my god, that thing looks insane. Like the little, oh yeah, that's a super recurved. Damn.
Oh, this one has like 80 pounds.
Spring?
Yeah, and it only looks like it extends like. Oh, that was actually pretty far. It's like 2 feet. Ugh.
What's like
Oh, it's only 3 inches. That's
Yeah.
only 5 inches.
This one's getting pulled back 1.85 and has a spring rate of a K of like 179 pounds per inch.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we're pulling just over an inch in displasion, so like you're gonna have some serious, especially that you have two, and only $27.
That's like too pricey though. I want something like a little bit like cheaper. I'm finding stuff in the like a 3-inch, like 1-inch, like diameter spring that has a like K of 90 pounds per inch.
So you want anything greater than 90?
It's only 3 inches though, and it's like $3 a spring.
I mean that's pretty good. That's manageable. That's very manageable. What's that?
Really hard to pull though.
Well. Wait, that's not the max spring value. How is it 17? Oh, load. Yeah, here you go. Music while steel. Let's see.
Alright, so what's the design? Let's start mocking this up in CAD.
Okay. So, of course, I don't know what that one is. I need to save that. I'm gonna assume.
I'm sending you the one I found that was looking pretty good.
Nice. Yeah, the music wild steel. And yeah, for $13 for a 5-pack.
Yeah. I'm liking this section over here.
Yeah. Yeah, and at that point you can start to double up too. Did I close Fusion? How did I close Fusion? It is also 1:30. I probably only got a couple more minutes in me.
Actually fair. I think we should get some like design sketched out though.
Okay, yeah, I'm down for that.
How do you want to sketch them?
I was gonna do maybe a pretty rough,
CAD.
yeah, and just like do a block diagram essentially.
Yeah.
Oh, project. I started a new folder. I can't wait for there to be like 20 folders and nothing in them. Like just like a whole bunch of like started files that are like nothing.
I think if I can see a vision for this one, I'd put some serious hours to this. That'd be so cool to like 3D print like a wrist like crossbow, like a linear wrist crossbow.
Yeah. Like.
Especially if you could motorize it too.
Yeah, I was thinking about keeping with the size of it to be like like a rifle.
Hand crank.
Not hand crank necessarily. I think you
Hand
can.
load even.
Yeah, but just like the size of it, like
yeah,
two-handed operation thing.
Mhm.
So like, if I was to really start trying to draw it out,
It says your stream's paused.
What?
Oh, you minimized your application. Uh-oh.
It still says.
Well, it's only for me, I think.
Nope, I'm good on my end, I think.
I guess it was mine.
We did
Cool.
get one view at 12:30.
What were we doing then?
I don't know.
Is that one of us?
I don't think so. They watched for
That's fun.
4 minutes and 20 seconds. Could have been that's actually kind of funny. Could have
That's
been
fun.
that could have been Ash. Now that I think about it.
That's funny. No, so your stream's paused.
Not in the studio. Oh, do you mean on
Discord, I mean, for me.
Oh. I get ya. Share. I really drew out that. There you go. Is that work now?
Yeah, now we're talking.
Okay. I was confuzzled.
So focus on drawing out kind of like the pulley diagram. That's more what I'm interested in here.
Gotcha.
Because I have a good sense of what would I really want to have like for like the shape of this.
Mm-hmm.
I made the wrist module for the partial lamp prosthetic.
Yeah.
So I think I have a vision for how it's going to mount there. I then think I want to be able to like grab it.
Wait,
like
are you assuming wrist mounted?
Well, of course. You two don't want this to be mini, right?
I was
Like
gonna
that makes
go
the
with
most sense.
a miniature. Oh well, a wrist mounted version to start might not be the worst idea.
Yeah.
I was thinking about going for like a little handheld guy.
Nah.
Because I was going to go with a 2 operation.
I want like the crossbow from Dishonored.
I don't know that.
Look it up.
Excuse me. Crossbow Honored. You know what I would say though? Is that
Yeah.
I watched one of the Stuff Made Here videos. I don't know if you've come across that guy on YouTube. He's a really good
I know him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
He made the frisbee throwing device.
Mm-hmm.
And talked about breaking his arm off like consistently during it. That might be a good video to consult real quick after stream. And remember like elements of like how not to break our arms if it becomes too powerful.
Breaking our arms. Well, I mean, the whole point of this, I think, would be that like we do like the rotating like pulleys, like it would all be like rotary, so you wouldn't have like big like lever arms swinging around.
Oh, wait a second. Wait. There's a handle grip and it's mounted to your forearm?
Here, let me hop in. Let me cat something up.
Okay.
So if we do want to talk non-pulley system for the time being,
Let me I won't save my changes and you can have a fresh doc in there.
Alright, this is the folder that I'm already in, right? Yeah.
This is
I do have to sign out from the work stuff today.
Oh yeah. I just sent you a picture of the image that came up when I looked for Dishonored crossbow.
Yeah, basically. But way higher than that. That has lever arms, but I want to do like more.
So, but my question here is, I assume you have a hand.
That doesn't have the wrist mounted thing I was thinking about. It's a bad example.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's why I was getting confused. Gotcha. Okay. Do you want to share your screen and I can?
I can. Let me just sign on in.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, I forgot to go like our own stream. Oh no, however will a video do with a non-public audience?
All right. Bow project. Design. Share your screen. Screen 1. Go live. Boom. And we're live. All right, so quick and dirty design. What I'm thinking is, so you have like the wrist-mounted section over here. I can't pin that. Oh well. And from this, I then want to talk about the like the hand grip section. This is gonna be real quick.
Yeah. Super dirty.
Fast and dirty. Then it'll like extend over the hand a bit more.
Yeah, I could see how that type of shape is going to do that.
Like wrist is there, like back of the hands here. And like that'll come down there. Then extend over. Kind of like that, and then have up here the like bow system. So you can kind of like grab down there, have like some kind of like maybe have like another loop around there, so you can kind of like press like actually no, that'll be enough because you can kind of like twist down, provide enough like gripping surface there. Kind of twist that back, press that down into your hands, and kind of have up in here be the pulley system.
That makes sense. I like that. What would that wrist module be made out of? Would you say just print that? Or would some of that
Yeah,
need to
print
be
all
metal?
this. Probably print all this.
Would there need to be like metal rods for like extra strength in it, you think?
I mean, you have to definitely do metal rods where you do the like the pulleys. Probably do a metal rod through here. This would probably be like a bolt fastened through this. Maybe reinforce some of this with metal, I guess, but probably just like print this with a lot of like smart curvatures to it. You can even probably cut out a lot of sections to make it more lightweights.
Yeah, but I'm also thinking if this is like the
Oh hey,
platform, the strength.
generative design time. We can do that there, but yeah, then have over in here the whole.
Oh. I don't know, Porta Boo Boo?
Yo,
Yo?
you're back.
Yeah, I must have had a
Little hiccup.
little hiccup. Ooh, it's looking good.
Yeah, and then do that there. Kind of have the uh, pulleys in here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those sidewalls I still think might want to be aluminum, quite frankly.
Eh,
It's just
I think it'd
a
be sturdy
random
enough.
thing.
Like it's gonna be in compression, so it'll be pretty strong.
That's true. Are you thinking FDM print, or do you think this will be easily done in an SLA machine?
Depends on how big it is, I think.
That's
how big
what.
your machine is.
Yeah, I mean, we could break it up into multiple parts and like glue them together essentially with the resin. But my fear with FDM then would be the layer line orientation, right? Because even if it's being all crunched, you're still going to be pulling apart between layer lines in a very direct way.
Well, you just print it this way, so it's stacked up.
Yeah,
So you're compressing the stack.
yeah.
Yeah, you get the idea.
I
I
get
don't
the
really
idea.
need. I feel like I don't
Yeah.
really need to finish that out. But I think that would be kind of the way to go.
And I'm trying to think of a good way to do a gear system. Well, if we're just gonna do a gear system to pull it back, that's pretty simple because you can just have a little key turn thing, a little handle, as long as you don't have to motorize it. Otherwise, you might want you have to figure out a way to put a motor perpendicular to that, which I feel like is a bit more tricky in terms of having it form compatible, you know. But
Eh,
then,
I feel like if you have it tow back the cable from up here, you could have like the cable kind of like run out
mhm. Also DC motors are much
and
smaller.
then
I was
around.
thinking stepper motor, but no, DC motor is what you'd most likely
Yeah,
use,
I
and those
just like
things are
run a.
super small.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I agree. You can easily have that perpendicular to the wire.
But you can also have it like go like parallel, like go in straight, and then have like come in, like and then just kind of like it's spooled up. Like you can just kind of like have a coil.
Oh, you totally could have it sticking up vertically. Yeah, I didn't think about that element.
I think that look kind of sweet.
That would look pretty sweet.
Put a bunch of like bolts along the side.
Yeah. Yeah, what are you thinking well, I guess we can DIY the projectile system too, about like the actual object.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd like to have like a little slot to it so you can use it as like a slingshot.
Yeah. I would agree with that. There might have to be like a little arrow attachment if arrows were to be one of the projectiles, because I
No,
know that
you can still slot an arrow in there.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I know that like an arrow needs to have a little guide to it.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, why not a big guide?
no, I'm saying it just needs a little helping hand to go towards
Yeah,
where it's actually trying
but
to get to.
if we just make a larger helping hand that just kind of extends down the entire barrel,
Yeah.
then we could also just stick arrows in there too, or
Yeah.
stick rocks in there. A little lead shot.
Yep.
I want to talk about the pulley design now. That's what I'm the most curious about.
Um. So let's see. I'm trying to increase torque. Um.
The section view. Inspect. Right, here it is.
You know what I used to do? I used to just go to the top view and then go straight down the middle with a cut that I kept like turning on and off. Because it was the days and I actually think this is legitimately true. It was the days before Fusion 360 had a section view.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's true. I just didn't know the tool, but like I'm pretty sure that I knew what I was trying to look for when I was looking for it.
Okay, so let's sketch out the pulley here.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a spring. It attaches somewhere over here,
Mm-hmm.
comes off the wall, then does this little springy thing, it coils up over to somewhere. And then you go out again. And we got 2 big old spools. One, let's call it here.
Mm-hmm.
And one, let's say maybe we decide to bring this one up a little bit. So you bring the thing back and around, I don't know. Or it stays down low. Yeah, it probably stays down low. One over here. So that's how that works, right? We got 2 pulleys for this. We have the arrow up here.
Mm-hmm. Arrow. Yep.
Arrow. Alright, so ignoring my lack of any artistic abilities.
I mean, the vision is there. Very much so.
So this gets pulled back. So when that goes back, this needs to go out. So shoop, 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 shoop. So
there has to be a
that
rail system to hold.
that would be the block and tackle up here. I
Mm-hmm.
think is how it works. Like there's some kind of like
arching thing that goes over
pulley here. So it goes zoop, 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 zoop.
Yeah. So this would be in its extended phase right now, you think?
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
needs to like loop around that once. Because I think that's a block and tackle. So every time you pull that back, you double the length you pull out. So that'll, I think, make that stretch. I think that's a gear up or down. So it doubles the distance, so it's halves the strength of the spring. Is that correct?
Well,
But I think we want to
it
extend the
depends.
distance of that, though.
Wait, hold
That's
on.
our goal, though. We want to extend the distance.
When did hold on. This might be me being stupid. Give me a second. Because I'm thinking about it like gears. I'm thinking the size of the pulley was gonna matter.
Oh, it would. Actually, would
Yeah.
it? No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't, because it's not like a band. It's just a length thing. And if the gears were to be used to drive something, then it would matter, but they aren't, so it doesn't.
Gotcha. I was just thinking that like I feel like they're similar to gears because you often see them side by side.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can do ratios with gears with pulleys. Excuse me. Yeah, no, wait, hold on. You could totally do ratios with pulleys.
It's all with the block and tackle. We just gotta put like, we can do it like over here if we loop that back and forth multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I forget where we have to loop it. Like, oh, we need to like loop it between the spring and like the wall. We have to like loop it around a bunch, and it have to be like a pulley over here, over there too. And like, I feel like we don't want more than one block and tackle. I think like we want to extend that like this entire thing. We want that to extend half of it. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like 2 to 1's a pretty good transition there.
I mean, that would be something to play around with. It is. Yeah. Okay.
It'd be cool if we could like find like make this work with like old mattress springs or something. Something
That
really
would.
really standard.
Yeah. So I'm just looking at block and tackle diagrams. Yeah, I see. Oh, you could get really fancy with this, can't you? Yeah, you can get super fancy. You could do like a
Yeah.
full pulley system, which could be like the
Like
legend
these
version.
ones. Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If we like loops it around a bunch.
And like you could get away with like piano wire for something like this, I think, which is like insanely strong.
Is there a benefit to having it be that thin?
You save size because this is gonna be wrist mounted. You can't really, piano wire is a pretty good thing, especially if you're doubling it up.
Yeah. As opposed to like spider wire, fishing line.
Let me I'll take a peek and send you something. Could you send me that link that you're looking at right now?
This one?
Yeah, just the general search, like the duckduckgo.com link, just so that I have, because I did on Google and I kind of got a different array, but similar type beat.
Oh. Rotational motion. That's funny.
Interesting. This is fishing line. Piano wire versus fishing line. Could you use fishing wire in a piano instead of piano wire in a piano?
Not why we're asking about this.
That was the first Quora search. I love Quora searches, to be fair. Oh.
So I think this up here being the only block and tackle is like kinda like this would be a block and tackle because that would kind of like pull that forward as that goes back. Actually, that would still be a 1-to-1. So we could do a block and tackle down here. It would basically be like we have a thing printed to like or like another spool that's attached to the pulley rather than being like free flowing or like free floating.
That makes sense. Piano.
Which we could definitely still manufacture ourselves. Put a
Yeah.
bolt through it, like yeah. So could we? We could probably find spools in McMaster as well.
Oh yeah, I just looked up for 1 pound of stainless steel wire. It's like $30.
Nice. No, not quite. Not quite what we're thinking here. I mean, just like pulley. Nope. I mean, yeah, that's kind of more the idea what I'm thinking. Like those kinds of spools. Yeah. Yeah.
Pulley for wire rope. Interesting.
Yeah. With bearing. We gotta do it with the bearing. Oof. Maybe we'll do it without the bearing.
Wait, hold on. There could
Those
be
are nylon.
There could
That's
be
what F and G. We want F and G, maybe H.
There could
hey.
be a savior.
G. G's not looking too bad, actually. There's only one per, though. I mean, hey, it's not too bad.
Let's see. B-belt poise. Because you know who else I'm looking at?
Who?
Musimi.
Let's see what Amazon has. What is it giving me? Garage door openers.
I would love to make like a 5 poi long one, you know?
Yeah, I feel like the McMaster one was kind of the best. Pulleys for wire rope.
Yeah.
I mean, like $4 per ain't too bad.
For $4? Yeah, that's nothing.
Put 2 of them in there.
Yeah. That's sick.
Oh, we should print the attachment for this spring out of TPU.
Yeah. That is a
I think
good
that'd
point.
hold up the best. Actually, we probably should print most of this out of TPU. If we print it.
I'll see. Elgo TPU.
Actually, maybe we should still do PETG.
Well, again, the nice thing is you can print in anything you want. I could get a an eSun flexible resin. In fact, the what's that company that you were showing me other materials from?
Ceratec?
Yeah, Ceratec has a flexible, impact resistant. Obsidian black and teal yellow. Obsidian black.
Mind not resharing your screen?
Hmm?
Mind resharing your screen?
What do I need to share with you?
I don't know.
Oh, just in
Curious.
general. Yeah. I was looking at Musimi.
Are you ordering more resin?
Well, I was thinking that that could be particularly useful if you're talking about TPU.
Nah, the tenacious would definitely be the move. I'm totally with you. It's
Yeah.
you want to add a little bit of it and mix it in, and it's really good.
Yeah. I was looking at these guys too. Like on that. What is that block? Hey, you're sketching.
Just a little bit block and tackle for the thing.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Mm.
The MF mirror. Oh, there it is. Oh crap! I wanted these coincident, or I didn't want it to.
Yeah, if only they had coincident assembly mates.
They do. You just didn't know what they looked like.
But the word coincident is just the
I
word to
know.
use.
I know it's a different name, but
I should have figured that one out faster. That pointer could have been it, but I think I had tried it. It just worried me that I kept getting an error, and then I realized the error was actually fake.
haven't you known like done SolidWorks for long enough to know that errors don't actually mean anything?
I've run into some pretty actual real errors now.
Yeah, but a lot of them don't mean anything.
That's fair. One rebuild and you're fine.
Yeah, one rebuild I have 1,000 errors.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you'll say over to find, I'm like, that literally can't be. And then you hit rebuild and it goes, oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Spot on.
I'm just locking shit. Alright, yeah, so we'll block and pulley system there. Block and tackle, yeah.
I should say that if, you're on a pinch and have to make one on the fly, doing using leaf spring steel is a pretty simple way to do this.
Using what?
Leaf springs from cars.
What are those? Oh.
Yeah, it's a type of shock absorber that.
Oh
cars have.
yeah. I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
So-
yeah, they used to use those on old carriages. Used in the woods all the time.
Yep.
Tell my friends about how it prevents like the shear force when they bend, as opposed to like a single thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. That's
so this
that's
is
not
what
cool.
this is what I'm thinking for
Mhm.
this. Like, kind of block and pulley system there, pulley all the way through up to there.
Mhm.
Although maybe you don't need two of them. Maybe we could swap this to that side and have it be pulley over, and then up, and then it pulls back.
You're definitely gonna have to have a bearing for that last turn.
Like, what
Oh.
if this just? What if we actually wait? Hold up.
Yeah, that needs to.
Hold up. We don't even need half of these.
Yeah, we only need 2.
Yeah.
We do need a bearing though for the turn, right? For the to go up to the track section. Also, it is 2 a.m. I definitely have to go to bed now.
Yeah. I'm down to go to bed after this.
Yeah.
But we can just move this up.
I mean, if you want to get those 2 pulleys online, in line, you could just have another bearing rerouted type of ordeal.
Have another circle up here and just have this one.
Yep.
Yeah, just have that one be there and just have that one go up
Yeah.
to that, and then have it loop, then out and back. Then boom, you're done.
Yep. That looks pretty
Cool.
good. I like that. I'll look at more at tack and pulley systems and see if there's been some DIY versions on some miniature scales.
All right. Actually, before you do that, I do want to see.
Yeah, I sent you that piano wire link, didn't I?
So why piano wire? I'm still a bit confused
It's
there.
super strong. You could
Yeah,
get
you can just put bolts through things. Yeah,
Yeah.
it works just fine.
So-
I expected that would kind of be the case, to be honest.
Yeah.
Would we want to make a? Nah, I think we just glove this by hand, ideally.
I think for
Alright.
first gen, absolutely.
I'll talk to you later then.
Awesome.
Good night.
Well, bye,
Yeah.
Odin. I'm Panda, and this was Politics and Calipers. Hope you had
Well,
a great
sign off.
time. Yeah.
Indeed. Good night,
Night, y'all.
audience. That totally is there.
One day, maybe so. Alrighty. Take it easy, Odin.
Peace.